Just over 2 years ago, I uploaded a video to answer the question that literally no one was asking. Can you beat Skyrim as Gandalf the Grey? Spoiler alert, you can. It was the first gaming challenge video I ever did, and I wanted to do the same with another Lord of the Rings character. But any other runs for a load of characters would be pretty basic. Legolas would just be a stealth archer build, and someone like Eowyn is just one-handed sword and shield. But there was one that I could do something with. A character-specific run that would allow me to attempt Skyrim survival for the first time. Aragorn. With only a two-handed sword that you can't upgrade, a basic longbow and iron arrows, the only armour I'm allowed being light bracers, and no potions. Any healing would have to come from food I've cooked or bought myself. Oh, and one last thing. Only one life. If I die, the run is over. Can Aragorn survive in Skyrim? Let's find out. Our journey begins just after the introduction to the story, because that's when survival starts, and everyone and their mums has seen the opening to this game by now. I used a cheat room mod to get the equipment I'll be using for now, which was the closest that I could get to Aragorn's actual attire. I just nicked Ulfric's stuff and took a silver greatsword. I picked the silver greatsword because it can't be upgraded, so it adds a bit more challenge, and it works well against undead, which balances out the not being able to upgrade thing, and it reflects Andúril working on the Oathbreakers. My main goal for now is to clear the companion story and get married. That gives me a place to rest and free food once a day. And this story actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. Combining Bleak Falls Barrow and the companion story, it gives me a good chance to beef up my two-handed skill and my health. I thankfully don't need to worry about magic, and I didn't bother really boosting my stamina. Freeing Kodlak from his wolf spirit was uber easy, as it takes ages for it to actually start attacking you, so a couple of power attacks take it out, and I'm now the new leader of the companions. Since I had already been to Riften and gotten the Amulet of Mara before finishing the companion story, I went straight to Ayla and we got married. In survival mode, a home-cooked meal is really good, and getting a free one pretty much whenever I go back to Whiterun is a godsend. After completing that, I figured it was best to crack on with the main story, as I had an idea at this point. After looking through everything Aragorn uses in the books and movies, the blade armour looks as close as I can get to the armour that Aragorn wears for his coronation. That would allow me to actually survive for longer and make things a bit less arduous. So I went to see the Greybeards off camera, as learning shouts is boring, went to go get the horn, got blueballed by Delphine, and fought another dragon that triggers dragons to appear anywhere now. Great. It's at this point I'd like to quickly talk about the biggest problem I had with this whole challenge. No fast travel. That made this challenge so much longer. Using the carriages, it did speed things up a bit, but combining no fast travel with tiredness, hunger, warmth, not being able to naturally regen health. I don't think I'll be doing another Skyrim survival challenge anytime soon. In my opinion, it just takes the fun out of Skyrim. I get that it makes for a decent challenge and focuses more on resource management, but for me personally, it takes away from the game itself. After speaking with the Greybeards was where I thought I'd find the most trouble so far, the Thalmor Embassy Party. I always remember this being a bit of a bitch to clear, so going against magic users that can also hit you hard physically with no armour was a bit scary. But this is where I discovered the usefulness of ingredients. In all the years I've played Skyrim, I have never bothered with cooking food or brewing potions. The only time was when I needed to do it for that one trophy when I was going for the platinum however many years ago. But certain ingredients can substitute potion effects, like heal you or make you resistant to magic. At this point I've been collecting flowers and butterfly wings but not really using them, foolishly only using food to heal myself, which doesn't actually heal you for that much. But the abundance of plants and insect parts carried me through this, making me magic resistant, flame retardant, and it secured me a fat dub. Going back to Delphine triggers the mission to break Esbern out of the Ratway vaults, so grabbing him, bringing him back, allows me to finally go to Skyhaven Temple. Getting this armor does break my initial rule set, so at this point I decided that when Aragorn becomes king, he no longer has access to his bows and arrows. I ditched that equipment and now only have the sword, negating any further long-range damage. And to make it a little bit harder, I turned up the in-game difficulty. I don't make the rules here. Okay, well, that's just a big lie. It's at this point I would normally go back to the Greybeards and speak with Parthenax, but there are certain fights later that have me worried, namely Alduin himself and a Dwarven Centurion on the way to the Elder Scroll who I think is unavoidable. I need more health and I need to be able to deal more damage, so I decided to dedicate a stream or two to the Civil War story. I much prefer siding with the Imperials on this, it's faster in my opinion, and fighting through Windhelm is more fun than Solitude. Plus, doing the Civil War story negates the negotiations that have to happen if you leave this till later. And that scene is boring as fuck. Now there's not much else for me to do, side story wise. It's time to face the rest of the main story. Much like meeting with the Greybeards for the first time, I did it all off camera as it's mainly talking and exposition that everyone already knows. The Greybeards don't like the Blades don't like the Greybeards, and I need to look back in time to learn a man-made shout because Parthenax can't teach it to me. So that means heading into a Dwarven ruin to grab the Elder Scroll. At least that's what I'd like to say. But I got ambushed by a giant. Whoa. Oh god. No, that's not fair. Right. Give me all the health. And stamina. Run. Fucking run. I can't run. I'm gonna die to a giant. Is that fair? Son of a bitch! I said multiple times in the streams, it wouldn't be anything like a battle or something in the story that will end the run. It'd be something while travelling to and from places. Let me just clarify why I decided to do it this way. After clearing Fort Dunstad, which is just south of Dawnstar, I decided the quickest way to get back to Solitude was to travel south to Whiterun and take the carriage back instead of travelling west through the swamplands. Travelling south would get me into warmer weather, and it would also give me a chance to stock up on supplies and a chance to rest in Whiterun before taking the carriage. Only for this bitch to show up seemingly out of nowhere and clart me upside the head. Following my own rules, that brings an end to my first survival run of Skyrim. I'm not sure if I'll try another survival challenge at any point. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's for me. I don't have the patience for it, and the resource management just isn't a thing I like doing to this extent that's required in this mode. It's just a bit much for me. So, can Aragorn survive in Skyrim? Yeah, he can if you don't get shit luck.